All right, who's got guests? If they would like to introduce.
I have two guests, Katie Carrico, my communications director, and Monica Jones, the assistant, city manager.
And I have a guest with me. She's the owner and operator of Skydive Green County. Spoke here before.
Don Adams invited me a while back, and I'm just now making my way to the event, so. Thank you for having me.
You're Alex.
Alex Keller.
Thanks, Alex. Good to have you here. Okay. Percent Mayor Adams, and that is Brandon Huff.
Generous.
It hasn't been a while, but I did manage to get here today without using Google Maps. So it hasn't been too long. Okay. Trying to keep this one quick. I was tasked a little late, didn't have much time. So we'll do things quick. We missed on the news this morning. The US and Britain fired rockets at Yemen and attacked the Houthi military targets in Yemen, which has spread some fears that the Gaza-Israeli conflict may be spreading. And as oil prices tend to do on these things, they spiked 4% right away. Some better news, prices are slowly falling. The consumer price index slipped in December. Looks like one of the ones was food with about 1% drop. And car prices fell 3%, diesel was down 12%. Gas ticked back up 2%, but that's pretty common around the holidays. Chris Christie suspended his presidential campaign for those who missed that. And in a recent CNN poll, Nikki Haley now trails Donald Trump in New Hampshire by single digits. And all eyes are on Iowa, which no one actually knows how Iowa does what Iowa does. It's just like somehow they're going to play that black magic game and select somebody. But the thinking is if DeSantis does not get in the top two, his campaign is dead in the water. So we will be watching out for that. And Trump's New York civil fraud trial concluded yesterday, and the judge has stated she would like to issue a judgment no later than the end of the month. And I can assure you, whatever the judgment is, it will be okay. And let's see, in sporting news, there was a couple this week. College football coach by the name of Nick Saban announced his retirement, which I was extremely sad by that. I've been a big family fan for about 15 years now. And for those who don't know, he began his career at 73 at Kent. And he had stints at Syracuse, West Virginia, Ohio State, Navy, Michigan State 2 times, Toledo, LSU, and Alabama. And I think he was in the NFL at, I want to say Miami, Houston. And there was one other, Miami, Houston, Cleveland, I think, yeah. So not really known for his NFL experience, but while in college football, he ended up with 7 national championships and 11 championships in the world's greatest college football conference, the SEC. So hope he enjoys his retirement. But a lot of people saw it kind of coming. He has said he has not been very impressed with the name, image, likeness, and the director of college football. And at 72, he's probably tired of playing that game. And I hope he has a very long retirement, longer than Bear Bryant's. Another football coach is stepping away, Bill Belichick, who entered the coaching world at 75. That's part of the Pats. Belichick won 8 Super Bowls, 6 with the Pats and 2 with the Giants. Ooh, no, the Jets. We're looking at the Jets. The defensive coordinator of the Jets. So, people have thoughts about him, but he was a good coach and won football games. So, the college football season ended this week. Nothing really notable. And for those in this room, don't worry. That season's going to have an asterisk on it in due time. So do not fret about the outcome of the season. Okay. Now, I thought since I was asked on short notice, I will give you all some fun facts, but it's got to be something I like, obviously. So, Oh, yeah, get ready. Flamingos can live up to 60 years. 60 years for flamingos. American robins migrate in huge numbers, upwards of 60,000 at a time, but not all robins migrate. I often hear people say, oh, the robins are back in spring. I had like 4 or 5 dozen in my backyard the other day. They're here year round. Some migrate, some don't. Some migrate north south, some migrate east west. Some go 1,000 miles, some go 10 miles. So robins just do what robins want to do. There are over 50 species of sparrows in North America. There are over 50 species of warblers in North America. There are no warblers, by the way, in the old world. Warblers are what they call a New World species. So if you ever go to Europe or Africa or Asia, you will not see warblers. You will also not see hummingbirds. Hummingbirds are a New World species. Mourning doves can raise up to 6 broods a year. Chickadees have very specific alarm calls. Chickadees often hang out in mixed flocks, if you didn't know, and they usually hang out on the outside branches, and they kind of sound the alarm for other birds. If you hear a chickadee go chickadee, dee, 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 he's actually sounding an alarm call. The more D's, the bigger the alarm. That is a fun fact. Northern cardinal is in the state bird of 7 states. I think it's ours, which is pretty lame. We're doing what 6 other states have done. No offense to the cardinal, they're beautiful, and the females look different than the males. Pretty common in a lot of birds. A couple of the good ones here. Blue jays can mimic hawk calls. If you've never known that, I can't tell you how many times I've peeked out my window to look for a red-tailed hawk, only see a blue jay looking at me. So they're pretty decent mimickers. Most people think of mimicry and they think of the the mockingbird. And then in the summer we have catbirds and we have thrashers, brown thrashers. Those are all birds that are really good at mimicry. And the bald eagle is the emblem bird of the US. That's not really a fun fact. Honestly, it's kind of a trash bird. A lot of people don't realize that they're kind of like vultures, they're scavengers. They're really, it's not even the best eagle in the country. The golden eagles are a better eagle. But we'll look past these things. But people who don't know, the bird was actually critically endangered at one point. I think it was down to a couple hundred breeding pairs in the 60s. It was a bird that suffered extensively due to DDT. Eggshells got very thin due to the use of DDT. So actually, when they banned that and other things, there's now a couple 100,000 of them, and they're a lot more common these days. They've made really incredible research. They actually have bounties issued in Alaska for 50 cents a bird. So we are long past those days. The Calio hummingbird is the smallest bird in North America. I think it's toxic. It's an ounce. Very light. So. Yeah, that's but now we're gonna go to the jokes and we're gonna keep it the theme because we're here. So should you buy it? When it's going cheap. Oh yeah. Let's see. How do you catch bird eat bird? How did y'all know that? You sneak up on it. That's a terrible joke, so I want to know why y'all do that. Yeah, I like it.
I think that's the tame bird. Tame way.
I appreciate that. How did the sparrow with a broken wing manage to land safely? Used a parachute. Yeah. We can go at least 3 more. It's really nice. Why did the chicken cross the playground? Get to the other slide. What do you call a crate of ducks? Box of quackers. Box of quackers. That's really bad one here. What kind of math do snowy owls like? Algebra. Yeah, we cut it off right there.
Yeah, that's what happened one day.
He was going on short notice, we'll be light on him, but, generally, if I have time to get, repeat the punchline a couple of times. But I do like the theme idea, we could get, Brian to do music and cars, we could get you to do that, and we'll just have a rotating, theme sergeant at arms report. All right, who's got happy bugs? Eric Marcus.
I'm very happy. At 6:20 Sunday morning, I get on a plane, I fly to Miami, and at 12:30, I get on another plane and fly to Santa Cruz, Cuba for a week on a Rotary trip.
Well, happy bugs.
I have,
That did work really.
so we were, I'm the treasurer of our PTO, and we had a fundraiser last night at a skating rink. And we had 491 people show up to skate, which was great, and probably pushing fire. But but we raised almost $1,500 for the
Nice. Well, oh, Jerry.
I'm happy to be back. I've been traveling for about the last 6 weeks. Started out in Florida, went to Germany, had a nice snowy exposure to the area there, and then came back and just got back from New Hampshire, and I had 19 inches of snow 2 days or last Friday up there. So I've been a happy camper. And when I left New Hampshire, I had a flock of about 30 or 40 wild turkeys come down the driveway to say goodbye to me.
Nice. You don't have a joke for turkeys, do you? Other happy bugs. Mike.
Get 5 happy bucks. I'm very happy that Brandon will never be the sergeant at arms. I don't
March for truth.
thing, let's call our nation's bird, garbage bird.
Oh, that was.
I started the nation's bird, and you did too. So wait. Anyway, we welcomed our 6th baby girl to our home, December 13th. Kind of keep the bird, the population going up. And with 6 other kids in the home, there's a sign-up genius going around. Her name is Savannah Maria, very healthy, mom's healthy, she was 7 pounds, 13 pounds.
Wow. Joe Jenkins.
I got a happy morning. So my wife and I, we were celebrating our 9-year anniversary. Why she put up with me, I don't know why. Then my wife and I and Junior, we went to Puerto Rico over, so that was nice. That was a blast. And then my last happy bug is, so we got an email Monday about Junior, how the teacher was talking about how he's this great little leader and how he's great in class and a blessing to have. So yeah, very nice.
Right.
Your child? I know. It's my wife.
Brandon.
3 on the way back from Boston, we got 5 new national parks, and we did Franklin Roosevelt's mansion, Eleanor Roosevelt's house, and Vanderbilt mansion. And then we hit Valley Forge, and then a very cool one a lot of people haven't heard, called Hopewell Furnace National Historic Site. It's about 30 minutes outside of Valley Forge. It's an old iron blast from the 1800s and well preserved. So if you're ever over near Philly, Hopewell Furnace is an amazing national park that's worth visiting. 2, we lost water like 36 hours ago, and thankfully someone was able to come out quickly and replace our pressure tank and our switch that was shorting, and we have water again. That's awesome. And 3, my wife and I apparently have become the same person, and I just can't get over the fact that for Christmas, her parents were aware of this because we shipped our gifts ahead. We had them just shipped to the in-laws, so they knew this was coming. We opened our gifts at the same time because they knew it was coming. And we got each other the exact same thing, a weather station from the same company. The only was one model, so I got a better model. But we are playing with the same person.
All right. So she have the same jokes then?
No.
All right, other happy bugs. Chris?
Ones we're doing things that are about what we like. So where I work at in the healthcare field, for last year, we are looking at our turnover rate being down to 43%, where for the past 5 years, we've been 50, 60, 70% healthcare, low pay, all that. So It's awesome to see that we're, kind of going the opposite way of what the, national storyline is when it comes to staffing.
Nice. All right. Other happy bugs. Okay, do the ticket drawing. We're looking for the Queen of Hearts. Ticket number 338431. Jim Rudd.
All right. I didn't do fine. No need for fine. There are no fine.
Not for no fine.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. I need the cards though, for you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
They're not in here. Okay. Right. Oh, I see.
Yeah, there you go.
Please remember that half of the proceeds go to our Christmas basket project. So Jim is about to contribute 5 with the Joker. Oh, the Black Rose. But no good. All right, who's got announcements? Anybody have announcements? I will say that the board of the foundation is meeting immediately following our meeting here, very quick. And our regular board meeting will be following the next meeting. If there are no announcements, then I will ask Pete Bales to come forward. Right.
I always find it interesting to introduce a speaker who is also a member of the club. And Pete's been a member of the club for probably 6 or 7 years or whatnot, but sometimes we all sit at our same table every week, and so it's my pleasure to introduce Pete. Throughout my career, I have had the honor to work with 6 different city managers. And being a city manager is an extremely difficult job. I mean, imagine for a moment having 7 unique bosses, right? Each with varying differences, each with varying knowledge on city operations, and each with varying opinions about performance metrics and success. I mean, it's amazing that we even have city managers that want to do the job. But it's also very rewarding, and it's also amazing when you see your plans come to fruition with all of the work that you and your staff have done. As far as Pete Landrum goes, I can say without hesitation that he ranks extremely high as a professional city manager. He is an excellent communicator. He keeps not only our council informed, but with the help of him and his team, our citizens informed, which is amazing. He has the best interest of our community at heart. He is fiscally conservative, and maybe the best trait is that he's honest, and I trust him. Right? Pete has been the city manager since 2017. He has a master's degree in public administration from Wright State University. I guess your master's in public administration and a bachelor's in social and industrial communication, which is interesting. Before coming to Beavercreek, he served as township administrator in Delhi Township in Cincinnati. He's also worked in local government since 1993, serving as assistant county administrator and director of Office of Management and Budget in Butler County, and also worked in Montgomery County for 15 years. He is the president of the Wright Pat Council on Governments and the current treasurer of the Dayton Mayors and Managers Association. He's an adjunct for the MPA program at Wright State and serves on the MPA advisory board. He's also a member of the Green Optimist Club and the Miami Valley Military Affairs. He's been married to Terry for quite some time. They have 2 grown children and a granddaughter. Right? So everybody please welcome Pete Landrum.
I have to get that one thing updated with just effective January 1st, which is, it's like buying a boat. What's the 2 happiest dates on buying a boat, right? Day you buy it, day you sell it. Well, when you're treasurer of an organization, the happiest day is when you are no longer treasurer. January 1st, was my time off of, the Mayors and Managers Association. After 5 years, I gotta get that updated. After 5 years, over 5 years, I was able to turn all over the reins of that. So very happy. I was gonna say, this April, I've been married 34 years. And I know without a doubt that if I bought my wife a weather vane for Christmas, it would be my last year of marriage. I'll just say that. I just want to buy her a vacuum cleaner or something, if I was going to do that. You get a little, wisdom and age and hey, but you know what, if I get it though, Brandon, because if I bought my wife one of these, mixers for Christmas, she'd love it. I mean, she'd absolutely, because she loves that. And as long as I got her the right kind, right color, all that kind of stuff, she'd love it. So I get it. Well done, Brandon. All right, so I'm gonna start off with the best joke. She couldn't be here. He had a prior commitment, and Mayor Adams as well, taking, I believe, care of his wife on something today. But Chief's favorite joke that I tell every day of the city is, here it goes. You ready? It's just a short line. I'll be brief. All right, I am going to be brief. He always says, that's funny when you say that. All right, so state of the city. This was presented on, I think, December 11th to the to City Council. And it is, even if I went through like City Council, I think it was 35-minute presentation, about what it was, somewhere around there. I try to keep it about 30 minutes. Anyway, let's go through this real quick. There are some at your table. Sorry, I didn't print out because a lot of times I have leftovers and trying to be that fiscal conservative to not waste too much paper. But everything here is available online, and if you really want a copy, see me. I'm sure there'll be some left over. All right, so moving on with this, I want to get to, we have a very open budget process. You know, we start this budget process in July for the most part. With City Council, we really started before then. It won't be long. We're already talking, remember, write this down for 2025 already. I know it's crazy, right? Second week or whatever of January, we are already talking about 2025 easily, and some 2026 and beyond. So very easily here, we have an open budget process. We start in July. We have public hearings or public open meetings where residents can come in November and ask any questions they want on the budget as we go through department by department, and usually line item by line item. You really can't sleep. I advise you come to it. You may be asleep by the end of the meeting if if a line item doesn't catch your attention. So anyway, let me move on. So it's a very open and transparent budget process. So here is the total by funds in the millions. So we're almost at the $50 million mark. That includes all grant, all revenues, everything of that nature. Now, this slide, what you really want to pay attention to in this aspect is that the fund balances, it's a requirement of City Council that we maintain an operational fund balances at least a 20% minimum. Now you have some capital items in the golf course that we don't care about that because they're capital, they're not operating, there's not personnel in those line items. So, and sometimes some from police or general fund and different other levies. Sometimes it's the timing of it. The street levy may have a balance because next year is when we're going to have to pay that large cash match for this big program, and we had to save up a couple of years in order to have that cash match and things like that, that sometimes the fund balances may go high. But our rule of thumb is 20%. If you see the park levy is at 20.71%, it's this year is its 5th year of the levy cycle. And that is where but basically when we go to a levy, we budget it out 5 years. So it's at its last year of the levy cycle. So next year, which there is not going to be anything, as far as I know, no indications. I can almost say that with 100% confidence. There is nothing, levy wise that we will have on the ballot in 2024. So in 2025, when we budget for the park levy, it'll be a struggle to meet the 20%. We may have to dip in below 20%, either that or it will be additional general fund subsidy for the parks. Or the other option is parks starts getting cut, because that's the only three options you have. All right, so let me go on from here. How many think that would know the answer to what is the city's largest revenue source? Okay, right, property tax. Anybody got their property tax bill yet?
Oh, yeah.
All right, so without going through every one of them, yes, property tax is the largest, accounting for 61.6% of the total revenue. And this year that included, if you remember, in May of 20, a lot of people, May of last year, it seems like an eternity ago, but May of last year, the police levy of 1.8 mil new additional funding was passed last May. So that is part of your 2024 property tax bill and part of our revenue that we are accounting for in here. Intergovernmental revenue also is a second, 6 million or 12.5% of the revenue source, and that includes like fuel taxes, motor vehicle licenses, local government funds, hotel motel tax, and other things. And you can kind of see the rest of it as it drops off. Grants, as you see grants, that fluctuates from year to year depending on what grants we are awarded. And usually we're awarded and it's 2 or 3 years before we actually utilize it. Because once you're awarded it, you have to do all the legwork of sometimes design, find right away, doing this or doing that. And sometimes a grant, especially MVRPC grants, are usually 2 to 3 years out by the time we know about it. Because we got to do all the homework or additional homework before we get there, before we get to construction and start receiving the revenue. All right, so that's our revenue, 48.05 million. All right, so I wanted to talk about this is something that, why didn't you, as far as the reappraisals, everybody saw the reappraisals and everybody probably, unless I mean, mine was 20% increase in appraisal, as far as the actual appraisal. So this is something that's showing that the amount of your appraisal doesn't drive the amount of what you're going to pay. So 20% increase of your home value doesn't increase to 20% increase of your property tax. Okay, that doesn't, they aren't tied together in that way. Some people really think they were. But for the city, this is an important slide. These were all the levies that the city had, operational levies that existed in 23, and how much 2024 was going to change. What percentage do you see that property tax revenues that the city received in 23 that were going to be received in 24? What is the bottom line of the increase? And that's for the new housing, new that, because levies, all these levies listed are not impacted by reappraisals. None, zilch, it doesn't exist. If that levy was voted on in 1980 and hadn't been renewed as a, with the new assessment amount, it's being appraised still at the 1980 valuation level. Okay, so it's a misnomer that the city is going to be rich on all these appraisals. Okay, and when you're funded primarily, what was the amount of the revenue in the entire? It was 61%. That's 61% of all that property tax. Most of that, not all, that's the general fund side of it. I'll show you, but most of that is not impacted by the reappraisal process. And then the next line. It's showing all of it. And so you include the general fund, and to be transparent, you see the general fund increased 23% in the property taxes, but it's little. It only represents like 7% of the total budget of the city, so it's a very small percentage. So even when you add that much to the general fund, in total, 3.42%. Does 3.42% meet the cost of inflation? No. So we're still in negative aspects, that the price of police cars, the price of this, the price of that, price of cost of employment, price of all that went up faster than the levies. And that's the downside of property taxes. Okay, anyway, let's go on here. I just wanted to point that out because that's always hot on people, you know, as far as to know. It's important for you guys to understand. And especially when you get your tax bill in February, it's important. Remember that. I know it doesn't make it any easier when you see an increase. You know, I got my property, well, I saw my property tax bill online, assuming it's right. You know, mine's over 9% increase, you know, with that part of that's the evaluations, because some of the evaluations, you know, the inside millage, the county has inside millage, the school district have inside millage, everybody has inside millage, and inside millage of levies are impacted and do go up. But enough on that. If you ever have any questions, please see me. Any of us that work in local government can explain this to you. It's a very common misunderstanding about how it works. You know why? Because it's complicated as crap. It really is. They make it that way so you can't understand it, right? I mean, that's the way I make it feel. It took me 30 years to understand it. All right, so our actual expenditures here. When you get down to expenditures, you see it's not a surprise. We are a service industry, so personnel is a large expenditure at $19 million, 39.4%. But when you see capital at 16.2 and contractual 8.08, what makes up most of those is all our road projects, our contracts for road projects. We contract out so much of our many services. In some ways, it's a shame, you know, but you know, the labor force is we used to have so many seasonal positions, and we don't hardly have. The parks does a great job, the golf course does a good job at getting them. For our street maintenance, used to use a ton of grass cutting and mowing and edging and all that during the summer, and we can't get them. So when you see somebody mowing the city hall, you know, oh yeah, it must be a city employee. Nope, it's not anymore. That's a contract out. That happened, really went that way with COVID. And even the contractors had a hard time getting employees to do that as well. But we contract out a lot of certain mowing jobs. Debt service is very low. One thing to announce off of the debt service, where we are for the largest, the debt is paid for the golf. So there is no debt service payment for the golf course for 2024.
So both the loans have been paid off.
Well, there's the small.
Right.
That was not a loan. Well, that wasn't for the actual payment of that was more of a contract. Yeah, that's like 70,000 a year. But the $800 and some thousand a year payment for the construction is paid for. When they did I wasn't here, it's been so many years ago, when they did to get out of a contract for this, there was a court ordered agreement to get out of the binding contract that to run this facility, and we still have debt on that associated. What was that, 2005, something long time ago. All right, so let me go on through this because I'm not going to go through so much of you guys. I put you just on some of those. You know, when you talk about again, a lot of this is about roads, streets, and contract. You know, contractual resurfacing of our roads, curb repairs, interfund charges and indirect costs, other professional services, insurance, green combined health, animal control, audit costs, all that kind of stuff. That's what's in contractual. Have to make sure I'm on the right page. Includes we went ahead and used the same format that we used it here. with our budget highlights and our goals and objectives, way back in, not way back, 2 years ago, we created strategic, initiatives or strategic, priorities that by city council. And all of our goals, the city's goals and objectives all start at this, what the strategic priorities are, and then we work our way down from those. I'll get into that in a minute, but we did add one this year, which was a good thing. And let me see what. And again, you guys can read all this. I'm not gonna read all of this to you. Again, budget highlight, the police 1.8 mil was added last year, so it's included in this year's budget, which also means a bit of good news, which chief is happy on. We get to add 5 additional police officers this year. Now, the good news is we are now just to the point where we can almost hire them. And what I mean by that is for the last 2 years, we got down to probably 41 sworn at one time. It was bad. It was almost mandatory overtime. I was begging the police, the chief to swear me in, send me in, chief. I mean, it was getting that bad where, you know, the mass exodus from the police force, and we were dealing with it. We still do have not open enrollment, but an open hiring process. We did go to sending cadets to police training. That was something new where we're actually hiring a police cadet as a cadet. They're not a sworn officer, and we're actually paying them and paying for their police training. That's new, but we've done now 4. I think we're on number 5 and 6 that we've done that. All of the ones that have graduated, all now are sworn and doing very well. So it's a good program that's helped us solve a problem that is still occurring to this day. A lot of police agencies, I think we're way ahead. Why are we ahead? Because people want to be in Beavercreek, and we're a good employer, good community, and so therefore we still are a desired place of employment. I will say, and we'll go there, but you know, that night when I actually, Randy Burkett, my development director, is the one texted me and said, "What's going on out by the mall? Something's going on." I was like, "I don't know." And chief was in Nashville, Tennessee, and so I texted Captain Lindsay, like, "You know anything going on?" "No, I haven't heard anything yet." So I hear where I live, I'm like hearing all these many sirens of 675, and it was a Walmart shooting. That was what's going on. And I will say this, I am very proud of our police officers, our leadership. I was there, Katie was there that night handling press and doing stuff, but a well-oiled machine, and very proud. You know, if you saw the video of the officer running in without hesitation, he wasn't worried about his life, and that speaks volumes. So job well done to the police department, and their training pays off. We're always training, and it showed. All right, I'm going to skip through some of these budget highlights. Again, there's a lot there. If you ever have any questions, please let me know. We also presented to the council, we always present a 5-year capital improvement plan that lets you know what's coming in the past or in the future, next 5 years. Again, we try to know what grants. Let me say something about grants though. The way, because of how we're funded, and I say this and people look at me in shock sometimes, but our priority of our roads, our top priority may not be a project that we do. Wait a minute, you just said it's priority. Yes, but if there's no funding for that priority, if there's no, you know, MVRPC and most grants are all ranked, and it's crash data, it's improvements to walkability, improvements for this, sidewalks, points. Our guys know how to get grants, and our grants become our priority because that's our funding that we can get with the cash match. And oftentimes we don't have enough funding to say, well, this road, well, if we know something's really bad, we'll try on grants, but we'll rank it and score it. No, it's not going anywhere. It's not going to get approved. The only way we're going to do that is straight out of pocket. And to be honest with you, we don't have a whole lot of money because everything we have is leveraged. It's leveraged with our basic resurfacing program for the streets and curbs. And it's leveraged on cash matches for those grants. Other than that, there's not a whole lot. So we have to plan well ahead and then know that, okay, this $2 million that we got to spend on this road that is pure cash that we don't have any grant for. We know then we can't apply for any more grants that we could get because we don't have the available cash match to apply for. That makes sense? And it's weird the way it works, but we make it work. We didn't have any money for the North Fairfield Road at first, the $1.8 million. And it was not grant matchable. And then every now and then some of the grants will come and they'll change up the eligibility or what and we jumped on it within just a nick of time and got some grant funding for it. It was maybe 50%, but we took it. So again, but we're always looking ahead for the capital. And council again reviewed all of that. Okay, the next thing I always show that this is our properties. Plain and simple, this is the properties that are owned. It is not all the right of ways. It's not, I don't have that your front yard, 10 or 15 feet of your front yard on the other side of your sidewalk. I don't have those listed here, but all the street and road right of ways. But these are the main parcels and properties that are owned, all the parks and all the main parcels that we do. All right, so this video, I keep hearing an echo.
Yes, but both speakers are on and you can't turn them off.
All right, well, we'll figure that out. All right, so I wanted to play this video. Last year we had a video. This year's another job done by Katie Ferrico, our communications director, who put this together, and I hope you enjoyed it as much as everybody that has seen this so far. But before I do that, one of the main changes in 2023 was the updating the management staffing. So March of February of 2023 came Mike Thonero to my office, which I already knew pretty much what it was about since I kind of wrote and spoke, gave him a recommendation. You kind of know promotion's coming when you already talked to the people and recommended them for the job, which I always support people to do. A lot of people, I've been in jobs that people have said, I really can't afford to lose you, so I'm not gonna, don't use me as a reference because I need you where you are. I've had that. I'm not that way. I want to see people strive and grow. And yes, it's painful. And yes, I cry when they leave. But in this case, it started the succession plan that I had already kind of floated past council. And then it was 2 weeks later, my HR manager walked in and said, I've decided to retire. And it's like, okay. And then I shut my door, locked it, and said, nobody's allowed to see me for next year. No. But that started the process, and the city council bought in to the changes that we made, and it included the hiring of an assistant city manager. I promoted my city engineer to public services director, hired an associate city engineer with all the millions of dollars of grant money they were getting. They need help managing all these projects. And then we hired a human services director instead of the manager. And knowing that my budget director, Bill Casera, will be retiring later this year. And Bill was like more or less the assistant city manager function. He really performed that. Actually in his job title, it says on behalf, functions as an assistant city manager in absence of the city manager. So he was always acting manager when I left. And anyway, he's retiring this year. And so we had to put a couple other things, knowing that's going to happen, have to make a few additional changes. So at the end of that, what do we get? We get a couple promotions. We get Monica, which has been a great asset to the team already. She, when Mike left, Mike was over parks, golf, all the street maintenance, engineering. And what I ended up doing is splitting that in half, and actually then Monica got HR from human resources from Bill. who will be leaving later this year. So now Monica has golf, parks, and HR, and a lot of special projects. And of course, she hears from me every day. She's just 2 doors down from me on all, keeping her updated as assistant city manager on everything that's going on. So there was a lot of changes. It's been positive. I have surrounded myself. Hey, the best leader is a person that surrounds herself with a whole bunch of lot smarter people than you are. I mean, that's just plain and simple. I'm smart enough to know I don't want to be the smartest in the room. If I'm the dumbest and everybody else is smartest around me, I was pretty smart, but I'm a pretty smart, dumb person. Way of looking at it, okay? So great staff, and we got more to come. All right, so here's a video. Enjoy this. Okay, of course, now where's the volume?
Turn up the volume on the computer, your computer.
Who turned it down? I had it.
It was echoing between the two.
No, that's not it.
We are proud to share the city's remarkable achievements throughout 2023 that highlight the city's commitment to its residents. Beavercreek's Parks, Recreation, and Culture Division has been a driving force in increasing community engagement. The department proudly hosted 8 community events, including the cherished 4th of July celebration and the family favorite Try-A-Truck. Dominic Lafino Park hosted 8 concerts as part of our summer concert series, featuring local musicians and 2 children's concerts. The division also boosted attendance at its recreational programs by introducing 11 new programs and expanding its 8-week summer camp, providing children with more opportunities to explore, learn, and create lasting memories. ADA enhancements at Merritt Park have improved accessibility, ensuring that everyone can enjoy the park. At 148 acres, the city's largest park, Springhouse Park, opened to the public this year. After receiving hundreds of submissions from the community, City Council chose the name to recognize the park's natural spring and springhouse. Over the past year, Grand Center Carroll worked with park staff and the community to develop a master plan for the park, to act as a guide for the planning and development of the park land. In August, the community celebrated the opening of Springhouse Park, and thanks to the help of dozens of volunteers, the park now features several hiking trails so people can enjoy its beauty. At the Beavercreek Senior Center, membership soared to more than 2,000 active members, a 33% increase from the previous year. The center facilitated more than 8,000 transportation trips, ensuring seniors stay connected and engaged with the community. The center also hosted 34 events for its members, introduced new recreational programs, and invested in state-of-the-art fitness equipment to promote the health and activity of its members. The Beavercreek Police Department remains dedicated to serving and protecting the Beavercreek community. In 2023, the department implemented a comprehensive health and wellness program for its officers. Community engagement remained a priority as the department participated in 72 community events, including Safety Town and National Night Out. The department also welcomed new members to its ranks, including K-9 Officer Mickey, and promoted 3 officers to sergeants.
Male shooter entered the Walmart.
In the face of adversity, the department demonstrated its unwavering commitment to the community. Responding to a mass shooting at a Beavercreek business, officers arrived on the scene within 3 minutes of the first 911 call. Their swift action played a crucial role in protecting lives and assisting victims, showcasing their dedication to public safety. The city's communications manager played a pivotal role in keeping the community informed. Following that mass shooting, they assisted the police department in handling media requests and press conferences for local, state, national, and international media. Throughout 2023, the city appeared in the media more than 100 times, showcasing city projects, services, and programs. To enhance community connection, a digital newsletter was launched, and Beavercreek TV underwent a redesign to feature more local content, promoting upcoming events and recreation programs. The first Beaver Creek Citizens Academy provided 30 residents with behind-the-scenes access to city programs and services. The city's engineering division secured more than $8.4 million in new grant funding from the Miami Valley Regional Planning Commission. These funds will propel 7 major future projects aimed at enhancing city roads and infrastructure. The division awarded construction contracts for 7 significant projects, ranging from widening Grange Hall Road to restoring a large ditch along Vineland Trail and the city's 2023 street resurfacing and curb replacement program. Additionally, engineering contracts were awarded for 5 transformative projects, including reconstruction along North Fairfield Road and the bridge on Factory Road. Staff's hard work also resulted in the opening and celebration of McGrath Way, a tribute to Jeff McGrath, who worked in the city's planning department for 19 years. City engineers hosted public involvement meetings for 6 capital improvement projects, emphasizing the importance of community input and shaping the city's future. Meanwhile, the city's public service division maintains 577 lane miles citywide, responding promptly to 2,000 work orders. The division inspected, repaired, and replaced more than 60 catch basins to prevent flooding and water pollution. For the 5th consecutive year, the city achieved Tree City USA status, and one of its employees became a certified arborist. During the winter months, the division efficiently handled 8 snow and ice events, deploying 670 tons of salt strategically. Beaver Creek's Planning and Development Department played a pivotal role in planning and guiding development throughout the city. The department reviewed and approved 790 zoning permits, guided cases through the Planning Commission and City Council, and welcomed 51 businesses moving into existing tenant spaces and 8 new commercial construction projects. The department also worked closely with council to become one of the first cities in the nation to pass legislation requiring applicants for zoning permits to certify they are not subject to review by the Committee on Foreign Investment in the United States in an effort to safeguard Wright-Patterson Air Force Base and national security. Code enforcement conducted more than 3,700 inspections and organized a neighborhood cleanup, demonstrating the city's commitment to the community's health and safety. The Beaver Creek Golf Club had a record-breaking year, hosting more than 35,000 rounds of golf and over 50 golf outings. This year, the club began a 3-phase bunker renovation project, aiming to elevate the golfing experience. During the summer months, dozens gathered for the club's 5 Party on the Patio events, featuring music and food trucks. Additionally, the club hosted 2 junior golf camps with more than 60 kids each, passing along the love for golf to the next generation. The city's finance department continues its legacy of financial excellence, earning the Ohio Auditor of State Award with distinction for the 12th consecutive year. The department implemented a hotel motel tax for short-term rentals and developed balanced budgets with 20% reserves for all departments, ensuring stability for city services. As Beaver Creek strides forward into the future, these 2023 achievements underscore its dedication to creating a safe and vibrant community. With a commitment to safety, engagement, and financial stability, Beaver Creek remains a city that embraces the opportunities of tomorrow.
All right, so next. The jumpiness of the video, it doesn't do that on YouTube. You're going through Zoom, you're going from internet, Wi-Fi access to a shared drive through Zoom, which is another internet. So it's doing that jumping because of you know, all the connectivity. But it is available on our website. It is available on YouTube if you want to have a look at it without all the jumpiness. But a job well done. I like it. So the city of Beaver Creek is a safe and vibrant. This is our vision that city council has approved. And so, as you heard Katie say it on the video, safe and vibrant community dedicated to serving the needs of residents, embracing opportunities of tomorrow. I'm gonna go quickly. This is the July meeting when we have, at the Lavino Plaza. This is when we sit around and discuss, have, presentations by council. And we did add, council did add these are those strategic, priorities, you know, diversify sustainable revenue, engaged informed community, planned infrastructure, right-sized workforce, family-friendly parks. And this year is the last one is public safety, prevention, education, and support. So those are the, if you want to say the pillars, the council gives us the guidelines, and based on the budget, then those are the things we focus on to create the goals and objectives for the rest. Now, just final thoughts. You know, facility needs for police and city hall, they're real. I have a clerk of council that had surgery and she cannot get around city hall. It's she rides a lift, but then there's like 3 or 4 different levels in city hall, and they're not accessible without stairs. So and plus the wear and tear, and we're packed. We're sardines. Now the police. That's a nice looking building with a brick. It's all just a facade. Once you get inside, and your coat hanger won't fit in your locker for the police officers, where it's not big enough for the women's lockers. You know, we have more women police officers now. I'm 100% sure I need to stat, but I know I can say it. We have more women police officers now than ever in the history of Beavercreek Police Department. And it's a shame what they have to live with, and even with our gentlemen have to live with. We're just out of room, supply, evidence, everything. It's just bad. Again, you drive by, you look at it, it doesn't look so bad, but there's more to it, more to come on that. And then just park funding. Yes, I already said this. It represents the 5th year of the park levy and additional maintenance costs of Springhouse Park will put pressure on that. Where we go from that, that's what we will be talking about with City Council in 2024. And all our stormwater projects, maybe earlier this week, I don't know. Chuck, did Willowcrest flood this way this week, like Tuesday when it rained or Monday when? Yeah, this is we're gonna be fixing that along Grange Hall Road, the Willowcrest area. That's one in Vineland. So that's gonna be important to continue to invest in infrastructure, which that is our ARPA money that we have invested. We didn't go out and expand parks and buy this and buy that and buy that. No, we put it in an infrastructure. It's one-time money. We gotta do it. And all these documents are available online for us. So please look at that. And thank you guys. Do I have a minute for questions or 30 seconds for a question?
Not really.
Not really.
But if you can hang around.
I'm gonna hang around, and thank you guys very much.
As it's our custom, we'll donate a book to the Greene County Community Libraries, City Mazes Around the World, on behalf of our speaker. Thanks. Everybody will rise for the pledge as I close out with some things. Next week's meeting, Brian Rushing will be providing us with the state of the township. Beth Cusack and Charles Curran are our greeters. Please keep an eye on all of our outlets for upcoming events. And we'll head with the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Guys, have a good week. All right, whatever you do.